What it do, man? It's your boy Battle Truth coming to you live and direct from the Battle Truth headquarters. Let's get right off into this. The battle for LA took a turn for the worse, man. LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard, both teams, the Clippers and Lakers, are on the brink of defeat. One loss between either two could send them on their way packing for next year. Now, a lot of people been wanting to see a playoff series against the Clippers and Lakers for the past year. Well, 2 years now. It don't look like we're going to get it. Don't look like we're going to get it, man. Is there any hopes? Can we be optimistic about what may happen and occur today or tomorrow? Which of these teams stand? Which of these teams do y'all believe can end up pulling this off? Which of these teams? Do you believe LeBron and Anthony Davis can pull this thing off versus Phoenix, the number 2 seed in the NBA? Or Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? Do y'all think they could pull this off against Dallas, who took them to Game 7 last year and is so confident in playing against them now, man? That's one of the hardest things to beat when you let their confidence get up. Okay, so let's talk about this, man. Let's go deep and talk about this. So when the Clippers acquired Kawhi Leonard, man, and Paul George, this right here started some beef between the Lakers, LeBron James, and Kawhi Leonard. Let me tell you why. So Kawhi Leonard was said that he was going to make his decision and possibly was going to be a Los Angeles Laker. The Los Angeles Lakers had over $30-something million to spend on him for 1 year, which was definitely affordable for his max of what he was going to accept and take, even from the Clippers. So LeBron then was certain that Kawhi was going to play in Los Angeles with him. So for certain that during the time of the free agency and everything, they passed up on a lot of good players they could have got. Because they believed Kawhi Leonard was coming to LA because that's what Kawhi had said. But all this was a part of Kawhi's scheme to go against LeBron to cripple him, to weaken him. What I mean by that? What Kawhi Leonard did was he basically was assuring the Lakers that he was going to become a Laker. He was going to wait to the very last minute when all the top players was gone from free agency, only to announce that he wasn't coming to LA, which now made them have to scramble to pick up the players nobody wanted, such as DeMarcus Cousins, Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo. These players was blackballed. And the only reason why the Lakers picked them up and got them so cheap is because nobody wanted them. They were considered to be cancers to teams and in the locker rooms. But the Lakers had no choice because after what Kawhi Leonard had did, they needed to fill out the rest of their resume. So they picked up Dwight Howard, dirt cheap, Rondo, dirt cheap, DeMarcus Cousins, dirt cheap. And they desperately traded in mostly all their assets to acquire Anthony Davis. They basically forced the Pelicans' hands, forced their hands to trade him because he has the same agent as LeBron James. And they made it perfectly clear, we're not, y'all don't have no choice but to trade him to LA because this where he want to come. If y'all trade him someplace else, it'd just be a waste because he not going to re-sign with nobody else but the Lakers. So no team wanted to trust it. No team wanted to touch it and give up so much for him that they had to accept the Lakers' offer because he wasn't coming back to the Pelicans. And Bron was heated at Kawhi Leonard because he set him up. Kawhi Leonard had set LeBron up because he not only turned down playing for Los Angeles Lakers, but he also signed with the Clippers in the same building. Basically, so cocky and arrogant, he wanted to be the man. He even was doing commercials talking about how he basically was the new king of LA. Yep. So Bron was heated. This ad became personal. And every time they would face up in the regular season, boy, it'd be like a playoff match. It'd go down to the wire for the most part. Only for the Clippers to get the better end at times. Now, with that being said, everybody went into this year like, man, the Lakers and Clippers, man, the Lakers and Clippers. We're going to get that playoff series. The field have a different conversation to say because Dallas is up 3-2 on the Clippers on the way back home. And Phoenix is up 3-2 on the Lakers on the way to LA. With these two teams and they dominance, LeBron them the defending champions, it appears that when AD goes down, so does the Lakers. AD is suffering from a groin injury, listed as day-to-day. Then you got Paul George, who get a lot of criticism for not performing well in the playoffs. But that's not the case. Actually, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George been balling, playing real good. But they have no answer for Luka, who've been ripping their defense to shreds. And beat them every game in their own building. Wow. And now they got to play a do or die game set for elimination. Well, it's not a do or die game. Yeah, they do. They got a do or die game set for elimination, which now brings more questions. Kawhi Leonard is at the end of his contract with the Clippers. He could opt out this year. If they lose and get put out in the first round, do you keep Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? Will Kawhi even stay? I doubt if he'll stay. Especially by him losing twice back to back, ain't even made it to the finals. Not living up to the expectations. Now getting blasted by Dallas. Then we see what's going on in Brooklyn with James and Kyrie and Harden. There's definitely going to be some changes. Definitely going to be some changes. But out of these both LA teams, who you think more likely can actually pull this thing off? Or could they both pull it off? They definitely got the talent to. But it's not playing out that way, it seems. So let me just get it breakdown. I personally believe they both can pull this thing off because the Clippers is good enough to win 2 games back to back. They good enough to beat Dallas at home. They already did it. The 2 games they won. And when your team loaded like that, y'all good on the road and at home. But apparently the Clippers not to some degree. So the Clippers lost all their home games, 3 home games in a row to Dallas. Now they got to play a do or die game back in Dallas. The odds are more stacked against the Clippers. No, I ain't gonna even say that because both of them in a bad situation. Because the Lakers struggling without Anthony Davis can mean a lot. Are we beginning to see Father Time of LeBron James? I don't think so. He just needs his role players and them to actually step up and help out more because that was terrible. Schroeder had 0 points, missed everything, played over 30 minutes, and you the point guard. 1 assist, no points and 1 assist. That was terrible. But it also showed you how terrible their shooting game was. Because it ain't like he wasn't passing the ball. They just couldn't hit nothing. And this definitely hurt Schroeder because he turned down an $84 million contract extension because he felt he deserved the $100 million. And that really hurt him. Now you ain't gonna even get the $80 million because you playing so terrible. I bet he wishing he can take that back now. Remind me of Isaiah Thomas. Not the Detroit Pistons Isaiah Thomas, but the Boston Celtics Isaiah Thomas. Had a breakout year. Was been assigned that $100 million contract. And he hurt himself. He can barely even get $2 million. So the Clippers is in the world a mess. I have no answer for Luka. And Porzingis is healthy. They may just found an answer for Bogdanovic, who actually helped them out real good in this game. Game 5. He was too big for everybody out there. Then you got the Lakers. Anthony Davis hurt. But it's a bright side on the Lakers. And it's different in numerous ways. Chris Paul may not play. He having shoulder injury. He re-injured his shoulder again. Also, they at home. Unlike the Clippers, who got to go back on the road. Who do I believe can pull this thing off? Phoenix with no Chris Paul definitely hurt them. Lakers with possibly no AD definitely hurt them too. It could go either way. I think hard is going to determine the outcome of these last games against the Lakers and Phoenix and the Mavericks and Clippers. It's going to come down to heart. Who wanted more? It ain't going to even be much about experience. It's going to be about heart, grinding. Who wants it more? Because I'm telling you, they are in a world of trouble. And the playoffs get worse and worse as the rounds advance. I honestly believe for the Lakers, it get a little better into the Eastern Conference Final. If the Lakers get out this Phoenix series, they'll be smooth sailing. Why I say that? Because Phoenix got shooters. Phoenix got shooters. Phoenix got a good 5 shooters. And they've been lighting the Lakers up. Like everything been falling. If the Lakers can get out this Phoenix series, it's smooth sailing the next 2 rounds. Especially if they don't have to go up against the Clippers. And we could buy AD some time to get a little more rest. But the Clippers. I knew it was a bad idea when the Clippers decided to fire Doc Rivers the first year. That was terrible. And I didn't want Paul George or Kawhi Leonard to win anymore because they didn't even come to that man's defense. And they was okay with it. Because they're not going to make a move like that unless a player agreed to it. But what's crazy about it, they fired Doc Rivers and hired Tyronn Lue. Like, really? As if Tyronn Lue can coach better than Doc Rivers. Because he won the championship with LeBron. So maybe part of the tactic also would be that if they met up with LeBron, since he coached them, he would know how to put a game plan against them. Right. Tyronn Lue is not a good coach. If you got LeBron James, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win anyway. Just like Phil Jackson with Michael Jordan. Like, he ain't really respected as a good coach like that. When you coaching Kobe and Shaq and Jordan and Pippen, like, it really take a hell of a lot of coaching to get them boys going. You got to keep in mind when Jordan was losing, he was developing. When Phil got there, he was established. He was Jordan now. That hard work had paid off. So, Tyronn Lue getting him credit for being a good coach when you got LeBron James in that championship averaging damn near triple-double a game. Like, really? Come on now. Come on, people. Let's be real. And they fired Doc Rivers for Tyronn Lue, and he can't even get them out the first round. Doc went to Game 7 with Dallas and beat them. He lost to a better Denver team. I think that was in Game 7 too. Come on now. Let's be real. So, if I'm picking which team I believe can pull this thing off, it'd be good to see both LA teams pull it off. I don't think it's gonna happen though. It's a chance both of them might just be gone. But if I believe anybody might could pull this off, I'm keeping it real. I can't bet against LeBron James. I'm sorry. I can't bet against LeBron James. They at home. All he got to do is go home and take care of his business. Go home and take care of his business. And the rest of the team should just be okay because they're at home with the crowd cheering them on. They're more comfortable and familiar with their gym. So it may be better for them then. But I'm just keeping it real. With them at home, I'm going to give the Lakers a better chance than the Clippers. But we'll see tonight. We'll see tonight. Anthony Davis just injury prone. Chris Paul too. They stay hurt all the time. They so fragile. Man, they stay hurt all the time. But I think it's going to be very interesting tonight. I can't wait. But I don't know, man. I don't know. What do we do about these two guys right here? I personally believe if the Clippers lose, Kawhi is not signing with the Clippers again. I believe he's going to opt out. And I believe he's going to opt out his contract. And I'm going to keep it real with you. He'll fit good over at Golden State. With Steph and Clay and Draymond, he'll fit good over there. They'll be dangerous he go over there. I doubt if he'll go play with LeBron, though. I doubt if he'll go play with LeBron like that. I mean, that's something they wouldn't do. If they both get put out, they might do. If they both get put out, they might play together with each other. But I doubt if, I don't know, man. And it depends on what Brooklyn do. If Brooklyn Nets with James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant walk through these playoffs, they definitely going to have to match up together because they're going to be the threat. People going to have to build their teams around to beat them. So you're going to have to form a big three too. You're going to have to form a big three that you can rely on. So I'm telling you, if Brooklyn and sweep through the playoff, we might see them together. But if they don't, Kawhi not going to play with Bron. I'm just keeping it real. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is going to be very, very interesting to see, man. Dang, it's going to be interesting to see, man. Both these brothers on the brink of elimination. But more so, I can't blame Bron them, though, to some degree, because AD, they second best player, he hurt. Clippers got their full squad They got their full squad getting blasted. Lakers ain't getting blasted with their full squad like that. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. So, more so the fault is on the Clippers, man, just not getting it done. You know? But I believe Bron could wheel this thing out, man, and bring it home, man. I believe he could wheel this thing out and bring it home. But Clippers, man, that's another story, man. Y'all got y'all whole squad. That's another thing. Kyle Kuzma ain't doing nothing, man. Terrible, man. Terrible, terrible, terrible. We wouldn't need him to do nothing if Anthony Davis was there, but when Anthony Davis ain't there, somebody got to step up. But I'm going to say that the Lakers got have a better chance of pulling this thing out than the Clippers. Because the Clippers just getting blasted with their full roster. The Clippers supposed to be out, actually. They supposed to be out today because that game they won in Dallas, they were getting blasted in that game. They were down by like 20-some points in the first quarter. You know? But, you know, they came back, won in the end, so... I don't know, y'all. Y'all tell me, man. What y'all think, man? Who's going to come out of this, man? Who's going to come out of this? It's your boy Battle Truth. It ain't my judgment. That's a question. It's yours. Hit the link in the description box. Subscribe to Battle Truth. Join the Patreon. Name a member of the Patreon. Shouts out to everybody that rock with me and support me. Look at this, y'all, man. What are we going to do, man? These brothers gone. Playoff won't even be right without Brian in a minute, man. But it is what it is, man.